Well, let's move on to something which is entirely different, and I expect we'll at least get the heart racing of one of our team today, and that is the Zenith Defy Skyline Skeleton Bhindi limited edition watch with all the jewels. Ripley, tell us a little bit about this. You did the review.
Yeah, so Ariel and I went to their event. It was just here in LA to check it out. This is from a functional standpoint, it's the same thing as this standard Zenith Defy Skyline skeleton. So it's in stainless steel and it's got that high frequency movement that's based on the architecture of the El Primero. So it's 5 hertz. You've got that rapid seconds hand. So that small seconds hand moves around, makes one rotation every 10 seconds rather than once a minute. So it's kind of got a cool movement. You can see the balance frantically moving in there in its silicon bits. This is actually Bhindi's first collaboration watch, which I was really surprised to hear. They're kind of a staple in the Southern California watch scene. Obviously, they do a lot of jewelry, so having a piece that is both watch and jewelry makes a lot of sense for them. But you've got an assortment of different colored sapphires in the bezel, those same ones mirrored on the dial, marking on the case back. And unlike the standard models, you get the stainless steel bracelet and a black rubber strap. And then it uses the same type of bracelet for the other Defy Skyline models. So if you wanted one of the colored rubber straps to complement some of the hues on the bezel, those are all available and compatible as well. And naturally, it's a limited edition, and I believe it's $36,200.
It is indeed. It is indeed. So, but is it a hit? Is it a miss? Or is it a maybe? 1, 2, 3, go. Hit, hit, hit. Miss from Kevin. Oh dear. A hit. So hits all round except Kevin. Yeah, me and David think it's a hit. I suspect we both think it's a hit for exactly the same reason. David, go ahead.
I mean, it's cool. It's not hideously overpriced. And somehow, strangely, this collection and this model just works with these gems on it better than without it. So I quite like it for that reason.
Yeah, 36,000 for a full gem set type watch almost feels like a bargain. Uh,
Almost. And yet it
almost feels
doesn't.
like a bargain. That's just cool. I mean, how could you not think that this was great? I guess we'll find out in a minute from Kevin Ripley. You gave it a hit.
Yeah, I give it a hit. I think from a concept, it's not like a revolutionary new model compared to what you can find in Zenith's catalog, but I do feel from a conceptual standpoint, it does kind of accurately represent sort of like a Bindi version of a Zenith. Obviously, this aesthetic is inseparable from the Rolex Daytona, so I think it was a smart move to one, not make this a chronograph, and two, give it kind of a skeletonized dial, so it feels like a tangibly different piece. And for me, unless you're like a billionaire, you know, you like the rainbow gem set watch, but you're not necessarily spending $250,000, $500,000 on one to have as this kind of fun horological novelty. $36,000 is obviously very expensive still. This comes at a steep premium compared to the standard stainless steel models that are unadorned with gemstones. But at the same time, it's not so expensive that you're buying this piece. No one's going to buy this and wear it every single day, 365. So I feel like
Oh,
it's
I
a more
don't know about
appropriate.
that. Me and
Well,
David might.
Oh, yeah.
this is. I feel like
One
David
watch
might want some
collection.
additional diamonds or something at some point. He wants more icy, more of a snow cone. But I feel like this is a more appropriate amount to spend, where it's very nice, comes from a well-known luxury manufacturer, very well executed gems. But if you don't wear it every single day, it's not like you just have $250,000 sitting in the watch
Hmm.
box at all times.
Do you think the value, or not so much the value, the pricing, how much of the pricing is to do with the time it takes to do the gem setting versus how expensive the gems actually are? Are the gems actually not that expensive, but it just takes time and effort and premium to put it in? Do we know? Anyone know how
Yeah,
much this kind of gear
the setting is
costs?
a pain. It's really quite easy to get it wrong. Once you put the last one in, you can't change anything. So it's we have one go at it. Selecting the gems is also quite difficult. You have to have like a reference stone, and then you pour a bunch of them on the table, and you set like one stone that is a reference, and then you compare the others, and you try and define like you try and find ones that match. In the real world, if you go out and you hunt for these watches and you look at them, what you will find is that a lot of them have a break in the pattern somewhere where it just doesn't add up. It's almost the perfect pattern, but once you close the circle, then there is an issue at some point. This one looks like a great example here. But they usually are the ones that you see for press and media and whatever. So if they can get all of them this right, then that's great. The quality of the setting also looks great. I would not be surprised if this was Sala Nitro or somebody like a really high end supplier. Obviously, it's not Zenith doing this; it's a supplier somewhere in Switzerland.
Yeah. Kevin, you gave it a miss. Justify yourself,
Oh
young man.
well, what can I say? I like the skeletonization of it. The Zenith bracelet looks amazing, and the size looks fantastic. But it's just the gem setting. I just can't get on with that gem setting. I don't know what it is. Are they synthetic or are they real? What is it? Rubies? Or...
Well, I mean, they're all
I think
real,
it's a
whether or
mix,
not,
probably.
yeah, whether, I mean, they're all real gemstones. Nothing's, you know, a false synthetic, stone. That at the same time, though, with a lot of these colored sapphires, you're not going to find these in nature, so they're, chemically treated to make them their colors in that degree. But as David mentioned, it's yes, the setting itself is hard, but it's not so much the stones on this. It is getting that gradient. It's not like if it takes 50 stones, it's not like you have 50 stones in front of you and you just put them in a bezel. It really is kind of like doing a puzzle, but it's not like all the pieces go there. You kind of have to hunt for the stones. Some stones you can't use because it might be too dark of a hue, and the ones adjacent to it would then need to be correspondingly darker, which would mean all of the stones would need to be darker, and it's just a bit too dark that you can use, so you have that one left out and try to use it in another. So it's getting it organized to the point where you can set it is a lot of the struggle, and you need far more stones than what actually ends up inside the watches. Sure. Because you have to be selective about which
Absolutely,
ones go where.
I do understand that. But I mean, I love the design. It's just if it didn't have the gem set bezel, it's definitely a hit. I'm a big fan of it. But
Kevin, they make that already, and you'll save yourself like $13,000.
Wow. See, now that's a bargain compared to 36,000.
You agree with Joseph in the chat who doesn't like this. Remember, you can watch this show live broadcast on a Tuesday morning UK time. A Blog to Watch Weekly Live and take part in Hitmas. Maybe yourself. Ariel, you give it a hit. Is that an everyday wearer for you?
Look, when I see this watch, I think of the members of the Bhindi family who like jewelry. That's sort of their background. They got into watches as sort of a second part of their business life, and they like it a lot. So for me, I just think about that family, their personality, the stores, and of course, their customers. So I really get what they were going for. The rainbow bezel is well done. I've seen far worse rainbow bezels and much more expensive watches. The size of the watch makes sense. There are a lot of pluses on this. Do I want to look at a skeleton dial every day? No. Do I want to wear a watch and a bracelet every day? No. So it's definitely not a daily wear, but I could see myself picking this up probably more often than I would think.
Good stuff. And Azad?
It's a hit for me. I'm a real fan of the base model, and I think the rainbow setting is tastefully done, nicely done. I don't think the price is too different to what's out there already. Actually, probably even lower than what you get elsewhere. So I really like it. Hit for me.